energy, manpower, and money to move 60 plus head of horses, especially without law enforcement involvement.
And I have said this from the beginning, rescuing doesn't stop it removing them from a situation
No,
and
it's
putting them
not
in a
good.
different one. It doesn't.
Hey, so this is live on Instagram right now. So if anybody has any questions, we can just go right to Dawn. We don't have to have this bickering back and forth and having Tassie brought into the middle of it, or any of us. We could just go right to Instagram and ask ourselves, right?
But the problem is that some of us have reached out to Dawn and she's just flat out not answered. She's read messages. And like, speaking of, I've seen several people who have reached out and it was in a very polite, very respectful manner, offering help, offering personal donations of things that they have. And she's just read it and not answered. So if Dawn would answer, that would be great. And we would all love to chat with Dawn because we all do have some really helpful stuff that we would love to send her. I've got 13 full blankets that I could send to her, but she won't answer my DM on Instagram. So how am I'm not going to help you unless you can have a respectful conversation with me because 1, I don't know where to send it to. 2, I want to make sure that if I make a donation to these foals, I can claim it on my taxes. And 3, I have some questions for her as well as a little bit of advice for her. And so do a few other people who have reached out very respectfully and very politely. She doesn't answer. So as much as I would love that, I just don't think that's working.
Can you imagine being in her shoes and getting all of those messages?
Well, no, absolutely. I completely get it because I'm sure she feels overwhelmed and she feels really drowned out. But there are really good people trying to help her right now. And she needs to at least put the effort and the time into hearing them out so she could be assisted because they're like myself excluded. I'm not talking about me. There are lots of people who have reached out with really beneficial stuff in a very respectful, very kind manner who just want to help her. And she shit on them and walked away from them. So that's really like... I mean,
she can be made. Not responding.
And
I don't know.
may I interject?
Sure, everybody else is.
Okay. I've been a good pet rock. Now, all I'm gonna say is, I mean, she is a new rescue. So as a new rescue, like everyone stated, she should be trying to take in any and all information she can. She has landed herself in a very, very hard spot, taking on this many sick babies. And take in all the information you can. There are people that are wanting to help. And when you go about it in a negative way, knowing that she is new to it, it's not going to look good on her. And I am done.
Here's my response to that. And that is that she's getting thousands of messages with conflicting information. You should feed them hay. You should feed them alfalfa. You should be feeding them mash. You should not be feeding them mash. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You should be doing this. Right? So all this conflicting information and contradictory information doesn't actually help. You guys have seen things when someone asks a question in like the beginner horses group or whatever, and you get like literally 100 messages all saying something different. So in the end of the day, she's going to take the advice from her veterinarians. She is who are aware of the situation with the foals, and she's getting thousands of messages. That's all.
Okay.
From there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to say, if she listens to you, then why don't you come to her with the right information and all the knowledge that she needs? If she listens to you, by all means, provide her with that knowledge.
See, the horses are moved to barns and have square bales that are square bales that are barn kept. They all have blankets. I mean, she's listening and she's doing things and taking steps in order to make sure that these babies are taken care of. And trust me, when she loses one, it is really hard on her. Harder. I mean, you guys were saying like that he cries over his babies he cries over his horses when they die. Even though he was the cause of it, he's excused. But then at the same time, Dawn is caring and is putting forth.
I'll be back. Hubby called. I got to disconnect.
To keep them alive, right? And she came in without them being fresh. She came in with them not being able to stand up off the trailer, regardless of the reason why they weren't able to get off the trailer. Oh, there I am. Yeah, because you guys are asking me questions that I, again, don't work for Dawn. So when you're talking to me about financial questions or things like that I can't answer to you in an honest way, then I'm going to tell you to ask the person that actually has information about that, because
that's one of the reasons why I'm hopeful for the conversation on Saturday with her, with you, is I don't have Instagram. I barely know how TikTok works. I would love to be able to make sure that I am there to ask the questions that I have of Dawn specifically.
Also, I want to say to you guys, do you think that she doesn't see these lives? Do you think that she doesn't see the stuff that people are talking and what your screen names are and what you look like? So when you're in there bashing her completely, do you think she's going to like be open and receptive to you when she just watched you for 4 hours sitting there and trash talking her with about stuff that is incorrect? Like, what do you think that's going to do to a person? Why do you think that we don't have new rescues? Pretty hard when everything you're doing is being scrutinized and people don't even know the whole situation. They're judging off of one picture, or they're judging off of like a momentary thing. So yes, if you have questions, I can't guarantee she's going to answer you. I can't guarantee, but reach out if you have questions. I can't guarantee she's going to reach back out. She did to me, and I don't know if it's because Barbara told her or not, because I didn't see that conversation. What I did see is that I sent her a message on Instagram with my phone number and got a call 5 minutes later. So that's what I know, right? But as far as her being flooded with questions and then seeing you guys doing all this trash talking, do you think Rusty or Avalon, if you guys were to reach out to her, do you think she's going to really talk to you? No. Why would she? She has no fucking reason to at this point, because anything she says is going to get either twisted or is going to be nitpicked or whatever.
That's where this becomes this becomes the venue for her to straighten that out, because we are able to get our direct questions answered.
Yeah, and she's going to. So, you know, she doesn't even have to do that, to be honest with you. I don't have to do it. She doesn't have to do it. But I think it's really important for you guys to, because I screenshot, and everybody, actually, a lot of people send her all of the stuff, Maureen. I do. Other people do. We let her know who and what and where, because you guys are sneaky, and I know you're sneaky, and I know that you'll go in there asking her questions. No, I'm talking to Maureen and...
Bro, I don't even have a sock account there, Miss Sneaky. This is my only account.
No. Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking. I just said I'm sneaky too. We're all
This is
sneaky.
literally my only account.
What we do, right?
Because if you remember the other night when I was in your live, Tassie, I was asking the same exact questions. If anything I've said has come across as bashing, I haven't purposefully bashed. I can see where some of the stuff I've said might come across as that, but as someone who has been in this world for since I was 5 years old in rescue, it's hard to watch what's going on. And I get it from her side too. Like, I understand where if the dog shit's just being piled on you, you're going to shut down and not want to. I understand that 100%.
Mommy, I am not the only sneaky one. Trust me, we all work together on the Too Raw to Ride, and let me tell you, we're all a bunch of sneaky, slippery little bitches. So please don't think it is just me.
I don't even have any.
I'm talking about multiple accounts, you guys. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in general with our line of questioning, how we get in and start talking to people. We all that worked on the Falcon stuff together.
Cassie, we knew it was. Well, I knew it was you the other night.
Oh, I'm not even hiding it. I was actually just fucking with you guys. And also, you guys were responding to some of the questions. And in all reality, that's what I wanted, is because I want you guys to respond to the questions that actually matter. And half the time, you guys didn't focus on the actual question. Instead, went off on tangents going the opposite direction. So... it's still.
But see, here's the thing. When we know it's you, or we assume it's you or somebody else, and not even just you specifically, if we assume that it's someone coming in under a guise trying to trick us or anything, listen, the fuckery goes two ways.
It's not trickery when it's a real question that actually matters. And all the questions that I put into there were actual questions. Like, hey, are you going to be showing the horses?
Here's the thing. If you would come in under your name, I know I would have been more I would have respected your question more than somebody coming in under a fake name.
Exactly. And that's where I kind of stand too, is if you unblocked us and started coming to the lives and said, I want to get this straight, I want to have a conversation about this, I want to ask questions and get real answers, I feel like, at least I can only speak for myself, but I would have been receptive to that because that shows that you're not hiding. That shows that you're putting the effort into getting the truth out there, that you're putting the effort into getting the factual information out there. I would have been more than open-armed and receptive to that.
What kind of
Absolutely, I
nuclear
would have.
power plant cat is that?
Ask you questions because you don't know the answers. You step back.
I'm not saying ask me the questions. I'm just saying if you were to come into
Because
the live
I
under
honestly,
the
I
Mayor
don't have a
Sphere
problem
account
with you, Tassie.
asking questions, I think you would have gotten a lot more respect and you would have gotten your questions answered and you would have been met with open arms because you were actually just trying to figure out what factual evidence was. Like I said, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for me, and that's personally how I would have reacted.
Anytime I come in my own name, I get 8 people barraging me with questions myself, having me circle around and answer the same questions back.
That's just how this shit works.
Let me finish. I would get a mob coming after me at that point. And so if I come in under a different name and ask the same questions, the moment you guys even think it might be somebody, you go on tangents instead of even answering the questions. So really the questions are never getting answered. And it's really, Mommy Miracle.
Okay, can I ask you now, like what question didn't get answered today?
There was a bunch of questions that I put down there. However, Arm was trying to answer them. And I think the comments were just moving too fast for her. But she was trying to respond to them.
Okay, so I mean, so as long as we're clear on that.
Was in there, and look, here I am because they were being answered. But before, they were not being answered. Anytime I asked a question, people were like, "Ooh, she's trying to get an answer to something. This must be someone." It's like, why don't you just answer the question?
Okay, I have a question. I can't put my hand up because I can't get banned off here for smoking.
To hide it, really, to be honest.
Listen, got a question. Tassie, please explain what we can do to help. We have a pretty big page for us, and we will be willing to help. But I need to know the answer. What can we do to help?
So right now, they have basically made it to where Kathy doesn't talk to me anymore. Except for, she'll try to, pick and say she'll say little tiny conversation things, right? You guys, I'm not trying to be sneaky. In all honesty, I know it's me. I'm pretty obvious with my line of questioning.
That's not what she's asking. How can we help the horses?
I did not block Tassie. For those of you who keep saying I did not block Tassie, I never did.
No, the other
Arm is who is paying for the feed and hay and care with alongside another rescue that has not yet been named for the horses that are still at Kathy's.
How do we do that?
So there is another rescue that has 3 of the horses, and it also sent out the veterinarian to check and score the bodies of the horses that were still there. So if you want to help a little bit additional, she spent $780 of her own money and put an open credit card with the vet for 40 horses. They all need dental bad, really bad. Outside of that, feed is going through Arm, so hopefully they can keep their receipts together and ask their guy to write out receipts for it. Other than that, that's it.
Everybody needs wormer. If you want to either rescue, any rescue you want to help, dewormer. Send them dewormer.
The vet
Need bucket straps? Do you need grain pans? Do you need halters? Do you need lead ropes? Do you need blankets? What all?
Or is this a question for Dawn specifically on Saturday?
I have wait, let me speak. I have, like I said, a lot of followers, and a lot of my followers are on here watching right now. So I can't go to them in my live and say, help this rescue, when they're in here watching all this bickering back and forth. To be respectful, I want to really come out with something good to ask them, what can we do to help? Where do we go to help? Is there a link that we need to click on? Is there something, because I have some great followers that be willing to donate, but I need to know where they go, and we need to stop seeing all the bullshit because nobody wants to see that part of it.
I ask, see, way that
You contact Arm and donate to ARM and specify for the Arabians.
Thank you.
Yes.
Food will go.
Cassie, is there a way that you can ask Dawn when you see her or speak to her next to make a Amazon wish list and put it up somewhere so people who don't want to send money can send other things that might be useful?
Or even just a list of needs in a PO box.
Or just a list of random stuff that you may need that horse people may have laying around or that you can get from Walmart or the local feed store or whatever. Is that a possibility? Is that something that you can do?
I believe she has all of that on her website as well. However, so there's different ways you can go about it. There's the lady, her name is Tara. I'm trying to remember. She's got 2 rescues. One of them is Voice of the Horse, and the other one is Stone Valley. I have to look it up. It's really long. And she's the one that brought the veterinarian out. And again, they all need their teeth done. Anybody that's over the age of 2 has teeth issues. So that would be that side of it. And then she has 3 horses from them as well, which are extremely emaciated. From there, ARM is the one that's feeding the remainder of the horses that are on the property. You can go onto their website and you can donate to them directly for that. Just make sure that you're, again, like she just said, to put in the Arab herd, Arabian herd, so that they know that that's who you're rescuing too. No,
Arkansas herd, because
Dana, that is incorrect. The vet care that went to the herd here in Arkansas, that was through Tara with Stone Valley Equine, I believe. I'm sorry, Tara, if you're in here, if you can put your thing. I know it's Voice of the Horse is one of them, but that's not the one that she's doing it through. It's the other one, and I can never remember it because it's really long. There you go. Stone Valley's Ray of Hope. She paid for the vet, which was $780, and they all need teeth, like they're dental, like really bad.
Okay, Stone Valley. Since you're the one with the vet, I assume that they spoke directly to you. How many of the remaining horses can currently undergo the sedation to get their teeth done?
Yes.
That was a concern that I had personally, is sedating them for any kind of procedure. I just worry that if they're sedated, they will not wake back up.
So it said 75%.
All right. So if Stone Valley is a 501c3, ARM's a 501c3 with boots on the ground, my thing would be earmark a donation for, you can not only earmark it for a specific herd, you can earmark it for a specific thing. Say you want to send $200. This is for dental for the Arkansas herd. And that is what that money must be used for.
Some of these are probably too old to be gelded, you guys. And I think we went through that earlier, but we don't even know how many studs versus mares that there are. We've not been able to get a full count yet. When I asked Kathy what the count was on these studs versus mares, and she said that they're so skinny that their testicles have basically, you can't even see them anymore. So you have to lift the tail, and she's like, I'm not going to go out there and lift the tail of every single one of them. So I was told an estimate of 7 to 9 studs on the property, and the remainder would be over yearlings, like 2-year-olds and older, and most of them being pregnant mares. Yeah, I was told 7 to 9 studs. I think there needs to be more than fencing to keep the studs separate from the mares. These studs have been with their little bands for the beginning of their times, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at it like a Mustang band. Like these stallions have their mares.
They have their own bands within the herd. So there's the herd, the herd as a whole, but then each one has their own little family within that herd, which I did tell Kathy when she was talking about the studs were getting really upset that their mares were leaving and that their foals were leaving. And Krista was getting very upset about that. And I said, well, why don't you guys, when you're removing them, remove the band so that they're removing with their, with their family. And if there's a stud and mare pair, then why don't you put those two together so that those two leave together? These are a bonded pair, and that would help them as well. And she said that was a really good idea. I don't know if it went any further than that with Christo.
And the problem with that too is even after gelding, the mature stallions will still be more than the average horse person can handle.
Yes, I agree. However, most of these horses are going to be going to rescues likely for a pretty long time. I know that there's a couple of them that look decent because they were the stronger ones in the herd from the beginning. And when there was feed, those stronger ones would push off the weaker ones and the mares, and they would eat first and leave the other ones to kind of nitpick whatever's left over. And for a while there, they were only getting 1 round bale every 4 days for 70 horses. So they're not in great shape, you guys. And she gave a lot of fodder and she tried really hard, but in the end of the day, it still was not enough. Hopefully it's enough now.
The ones that have been allowed to leave have been because Christoph, gave his consent and Kathy has allowed them to leave. That's it in a nutshell. These horses have been allowed to leave by permission. Just because a rescue isn't stepped in doesn't mean they can't leave. No, if law enforcement came in and said these horses are to stay here and be taken care of while we gather a case, that's one thing. But law enforcement...
Yeah, because a seizure has not happened. There is no legal ramification, and no matter what anybody thinks, there's 200 plus people in here now. Rescues, no rescue on the face of this planet can show up on somebody's private property and take animals.
Cannot.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I am an equine dentist. I've owned horses my entire life, grew up on a horse farm. I am not a licensed vet technician, although I have lived and worked and breathed in veterinarian offices my entire life. And I want to know why dentals are being performed on horses that are 6 months to 9 months old.
What are you
Some
talking
of them
about?
have
No one is.
dull mouths.
Oh, no. That's a confusion. Some of these younger horses have malformations.
And they don't know exactly how old they are because they're grade, they're inbred, and they are stunted. They're stunted.
So not necessarily dentals in the way we think of a floating and a normal dental thing. Like they've got malformations and abscess teeth, stuck caps, things like that. That
on the babies, and who's getting dentals done right now? Because it's not on the property. Has not had any dentals done.
I know the one colt Amy had to take to the vet, but he had the janky jaw.
Okay, so in the dental world, we do not perform a float typically on any horses under the age of 2 because they have dystacious teeth. They're always shedding teeth. They're shedding their incisors. They're shedding their molars from 6 to 9 molars. Or if you want to go to your 100, 200, 300, 400 quadrant.
So can I have just a second before I forget? Sydney, if she sent that, then she hasn't registered her PayPal with, or she hasn't registered. She hasn't registered her nonprofit with PayPal because I have 3 nonprofit PayPals. They do not take a single cent out of donations if you are properly registered with them.
So my question is, I am not saying that I'm pro-slaughter, so please don't come attacking me for that. I do know that others on here are.
I think I am.
Okay. Okay. Yep. That's fine. And I'm not saying that I am. I'm not saying that I'm not because I don't want the backlash from it. But what I am want to say is I overheard in some of this conversation between the squabbles that some of these horses have, deformations because they've been interbred. Are we going to try to raise money to fix that? Because it might be better to euthanize them humanely than to let them suffer or try to put them through any surgery or raise all kinds of money to try to fix something that really is.
I think I think that's something that has to happen with a further evaluation beyond right now.
Yeah, it's not right now. They have not. I don't think anybody has really looked. Right now, everybody is really focused on just trying to see what is wrong with them. None of them have been diagnosed with anything. It's just visual things that a normal person can look at their face and see that something is wrong. Right now, if there's something that would affect them for the rest of their life, that not like they have to get their teeth floated every 6 months and that's the only thing that they need, because obviously they can live a really nice life having their teeth floated every 6 months. But if it's something like what I think Nala has, she might need to be humanely euthanized. Again, that's not my decision. It's not my horse, not my rescue, but it's something that if she has a malformation that would affect her long term, I would be pro euthanasia. But it's something that needs more investigation.
Mindy, I believe you were in with a conversation with Amy. I may be wrong. It may have been somebody else. And it was talked about the teeth and what was going on with the baby and that it was going to be checked and that it might have to have its teeth floated every 6 months. And there was a name that you called the jaw.
The
mandible?
You have to make sure that the mandible, TMJ, all of that is lined up. Those babies are going to be lined up.
There's major echoing. Can we all mute except for who's not talking?
Someone got a phone call.
Oh. So, in a dentistry, we don't perform floats typically until they are 2 years old. Will we go in and do an examination to make sure that the caps are setting correctly? Will we make sure that basically is holding up the mandible? Thank you. So,
Oddly, can you please mute yourself? Because you're really drowning out Mindy here.
what am I doing?
Grace, your whatever background noise that is, you're drowning out Mindy. Can you please mute your mic? Grace.
So I do believe the ones that ARM have are over the age of 2, though. I do believe so. I believe that the only ones that were 8 months or so were almost all the foals that Dawn got. And then Dawn, I think, got 2 or 3 of them that were they're either close to 2 years old or right over 2 years old.
I was going to say, don't say that they're all 2, because I know for sure they've got a couple of long yearlings, but they're coming up on 2. But they are
coming up on 2, and then I know for sure Ariel was almost 2, and I believe that also Swayze is almost 2. And most of the foals that came onto property were either days or weeks old, and I have a video that was put up that shows them, in very good condition from the time that they were born, and as they were getting older, their condition was getting worse. But most of them, I believe, are the ones that what's her name has, that Terry has, I believe, are either close to 2 or over 2.
The correct way to diagnose.
Mindy, you accidentally.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
There you go.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
There you go.
I muted. How do I unmute?
Sorry, I had a phone call.
Can you guys hear me now?
Mindy, you're echoing really bad now.
Mindy, you might have to go out and come back in.
And I'll let you back in if you're still echoing.
Mindy, you might have to go out and come back in.
And I'll let you back in if you're still echoing.
Mindy, you might have to go out and come back in. That ARM has that has the jaw problem. They're talking about having him checked and the vet to check all of that and what needs done. They're not saying that, oh, they've got to have his teeth floated. He has to have an actual check to find out what's going on.
So, Tassie, I want to ask you this really quick, just while we have a quiet moment. I'm not asking with ill intent. I'm asking to get a true understanding. So, is what Dawn is doing right now seeking immediate vet care for the ones who need immediate vet care, and then she's not doing any other vetting until they're at a healthy weight and healthy condition? Am I understanding that correctly?
So she had the foals that were in immediate care were in 24-hour care at the vets. And they stayed there and they were being monitored. They were having their blood pulled. They were finding out exactly what was going on, what they needed. The one filly that passed away, her glucose levels had skyrocketed. And I did ask her about the grass clippings. I did ask her about that because I was like, what in the world are you talking about, fresh grass clippings? And she goes, well, they're fresh clipped grass. Like the grass outside is freshly clipped. So that's what I was told. And so that's what I'm letting you know what I was told.
Really quick though, even that, there's a reason when horse people brush hog their fields or mow their fields, why we pull the horses off of that.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I know. The shorter the grass, the more sugar it has.
Yes.
I do know that because that's a lot of laminitis horses as well. You don't want to put them on fresh cut grass. I get it. I know that. But again, this was at the vet, and once her glucose levels were going higher, and it was liver failure that she ended up dying from. Whether it was from that, I don't know. Again, I'm not a vet. You know, I can't diagnose. I don't know, Dana. Again, I'm sure the vet understands and gave her what she thought that she would be able to handle. So again, this is the vet's decisions, not Dawn's decisions, not my decisions. Now, Dawn did make the decision to take these babies to that vet. Other than that, the other horses are still getting checked, but they are doing really well. The only one that I personally have concerns for, and if Rusty, if you want to bring out your mandible, I'll show you what it is that I'm seeing on her. And if she was just pulled off her mom, what is something that is in the back of my head and that I have brought to Dawn's attention. So if you look at the mandible, go further where the cheek piece is, on the left side, so the side that we're not looking at, is bulbous. It comes out like this. And then her forehead, I thought it was like a fluffy forehead. And so I touched her, and it is actually all bone. She's got a very bulbous head. Now, if she was just pulled off of her mom and she was able to nurse correctly, but she's not able to eat correctly, then we're going to have a problem, right? So whether she's going to need to have her hay chopped up for her and additional vet care trying to figure out what's going on, or maybe she's able to eat just fine because she was eating. I don't know yet, but that is something that is a concern for me. The other one is Rusty. Rusty is another little foal that they have over there, a little chestnut that is the same age as the other ones that came onto the property. And he also has something going on with his jaw, but not quite as pronounced as Nala. Nala's is extremely noticeable. Not to mention her eyes are not in the same place that a horse's eyes, especially an Arabian, would be. They're very on the side of her head with the bulbous forehead. And that's where I say, you know, it's almost like hydrocephaly in my eyes.
What I was going to say, because animals with hydrocephalus can survive, and that can somewhat calcify over time or harden. That is very weird. But the jaw thing, like you said, it's one side is jutted out. That almost sounds like she broke her jaw. Young, you know.
But she's not the only one that has that. So, I mean, there's other horses that have that same, it's not a rye mouth, right? Her mandible.
They have rhinos.
Could it be a possibility that they got kicked at a young age?
Maybe. It's possible, but multiple having it on the same side even, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it might be a malformation. So This is something that the vet is going to have to look into. Right now, she is eating. She is gaining a little bit of weight. She doesn't seem like she's not staying down. They're all getting up now on their own. So what has happened in the past within the herd, obviously none of us could know that,
Right.
if they were injured or not. But they are under vet supervision when it's needed. She does call them. She does have people like Emma that has experience with both foals and rescue. And she's got people watching them, and they're in a very safe place. They're in a very warm barn. It's nice and bedded, but they're all getting up, which they were not doing from day one. In fact, it wasn't until like mid last week that almost all of them, except for Rusty, were getting up on their own. Now Rusty is getting up on his own as well, and he's a feisty little guy. So that's, to me, a good thing that he's showing spirit. But other than that, it's up to the vets to really conclude what's going on with them.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify because I was not sure if all of them were receiving 24-hour vet care, or if the ones who are in dire need of vet care were just receiving when they need, in dire need, and then as they get healthier, the rest of them will all be vetted and evaluated.
Train going by. Hold on, sorry, I can't hear you. The hell is there a train? I'm not even in a spot where a train would be.
It echoes. It used to do that at our old house.
No, it's like close by, but I've not seen a train track at all, and it went by really fast.
It could be one of those young guys with the train horn in their truck.
Dana, that is not true. It was not only 3 having trouble getting up last week in Mina. So you're incorrect. I was literally
I just wanted to clarify and get a better understanding of what all was happening. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right, Kaylin, you asked, can we hear about next steps, the plan, who is leading the effort? Right now, there's only a plan for the horses that are already off the property. Everything on property has been placed on hold until new conversations, new relationships can be fixed to help get the rest of the horses off. The horses that are already off property, be it with rescues or fosters, they are at those people's discretion as to what their plan per their vet's instructions are.
Can I ask, did Dawn have necropsies done on the foals? Because having that done and finding out their specific of death, whether liver, organ failure, or whatever else, would be very helpful in taking care of the other 8 that she still has and the rest of them that are having issues on the property.
So I know that the vet knows what killed each one of them. 2 of them had the enlarged hearts, and then 2 of them had kidney failure. So what they did from there, I can ask her. I have not asked her, but that is a very good question, and I do believe that would be very beneficial.
I have a question for you, Tassie. You have told everybody. Now, I haven't been in horses for maybe 10 years. I had my paint who followed me around like a puppet dog. Nobody else could get him to, but he was my baby. You told everybody to go online and ask Dawn questions. I personally asked her why, if I'm going to help you, I need it as a tax write-off. My mother has dementia. I ain't got a shit ton of money to be playing with. It's all I can do to put in 6 hours a week at my job. I need it to be a tax write-off. The PayPal that is on your account, Tessie, it's her personal. I can't use that as a tax write-off. So, once again, I get my information through you because Dawn didn't answer me then. She never told me where to donate. So if I'm going to donate, where the hell do I donate at? Because I need it as a tax write-off. That has been my question consistently to you.
And I've answered this a couple times just alone in this live. First of all, is that I don't work for Dawn, right?
I'm not saying you do, Tassie.
Do you want me to respond?
Yeah.
Or is this a rhetorical question?
It's a rhetorical question because I've asked you several times.
Okay,
Because
then if you want an answer, I'll answer you. And if you don't want me to answer and it's rhetorical, then okay, I hear you.
Here would be a simple thing, okay? On a supporter, you want people to go to your link to support her.
Not my link. It is her link that she gave me.
Okay.
So
But it's on your page, hon.
yes,
Your
because that is
page.
the
Wait just a minute. Okay, you have her link on your page, and this morning you told people in your lives to go support it there. Why don't you ask Dawn to give you the link for her PayPal that goes to the nonprofit 501c3 and put that one on your page instead of the one that's there now?
I agree with this, and I'm not saying this once again with malicious
I'm not
intent, but I do think it would really help you, Tassie, alleviate
And I'm
a
not
lot
trying
of
to
the
be
backlash.
hateful.
Because from what I've seen, a lot of the backlash comes from people not being able to donate to the real organization. And I think if you could ask her for that link, put that in your bio, it might actually really help you, and it might help people get off your back a little bit.
Like, that's all I want to know. Like, I can't afford to donate anything to anything without it being a tax write-off. My mother has severe dementia. I will be lucky if I have her for another 3 years. So the money that I have and the money through Social Security that she gets is so minute that whatever I spend it on,
Time out. I think Rusty wants to say something.
Just real quick, somebody had commented and said Dawn was live, and in her live that I guess is going on somewhat simultaneously, that she said she has her personal PayPal up there because PayPal takes a chunk out of her 501c3 PayPal. That right there, like, unfortunately, the people that have donated to that personal PayPal that think they're getting a tax write-off, no chance of that. And I think that's where some of the problem lies. And I know you are not in charge of her finances. I know. I absolutely know. But
like, we all get where you're at, Cassie. Every one of us understand. You don't work for her. You don't handle that. But for those of us that are on the outside looking in, you have her PayPal. So we're expecting you to be able to give us the answers. And you don't have it. Do you see where I'm frustrated? And I'm irritated with that because I can't help these foals. No, none of my horses ever, my entire life, were Arabians. They ain't my favorite, but they're beautiful animals and they deserve to be able to have the help that they need. But we can't all go and just give money to a person. Does that make sense?
Cassie has an answer. Let her speak.
Okay, so if you want to donate to the 501c3, I think it's been mentioned multiple times. If you go to her website, she has all the options for you, and one of them is straight to the 501c3. The one that she gave me is just the one that she gave me, and I popped it up there. That is the one that she was using part of the time or whatever it is. I don't know, because again, it's just the link that when I said, hey, where do you want to receive funds for these babies, I will put it in my bio. This is the one that she gave me, and I don't believe it's a personal because it's an incorporated. I believe it's a business. I don't know if that business has anything to do with the 501c3. I don't know. I don't do taxes. All I did was just pop up which one she gave me. However, if you want to donate to the babies, I do believe all you have to do is go to her website, moonmountainsanctuary.com, and then on the donate button, there's going to be a bunch of different links that you can make a choice of where you would like to donate to.
Is this a video that maybe you can put up and pin to your page that way people who come to your page wanting can have an understanding
What to do?
Okay, so go to her website, click donate, and it shows you the options. Do you guys want me to make you a video on how to do that?
Post a picture of her webpage, the name of it, something, Tassie, because that's part of the frustration.
moonmountainsanctuary.com, the name of her rescue.
Cassie.
Okay, and we hear you.
I don't believe that you guys are dumb. I'm pretty sure you can figure that
No,
out. Right?
we're not dumb, but you know what? You do have people that have a life. See, unlike most of y'all,
It takes 5
I
seconds
literally
for you
sit
guys
my
to go do
house
that.
all day.
But I will go do it for you. I will go in and do a screen record of going to her website, clicking the donate button, and you guys can see the links that are available.
I'm just saying, you said that you were getting really frustrated with being attacked regarding the matter, And I'm just saying, if not for me, not for Dale, not for anybody in this live, but for the people who weren't able to attend to this live, it might be really good to have a video pinned to your profile explaining how to donate to the 501c, which they could then use as a tax write-off. I think that would help you. I think that would help people get off your back a little bit. And it would help people be more willing and wanting to help. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that people are stupid and you need to walk people through like 2-year-olds. I'm just saying there are people who are not available in this
if-
live today that are going to continue to ask about it. Save yourself the trouble and make the video.
Let me interject. This is actually constructive again. So it would be more beneficial to post the actual link to the one that is tax deductible, regardless of whether people want a receipt or not, because you tend to garner more donations if it is a tax write-off. That is human nature. People don't always, they want to save money or get something back. And unfortunately, that is the nature of the beast. And honestly, it might help her get more donations if it is an actual tax write-off and not a personal PayPal.
Perfect. I will go and look it up and put it on there. However, again, this is just the link that she gave me and the link that I put in my bio.
I understand.
Did not realize, first of all, I didn't even look into it. It said ink at the end. I am not a rescue. I don't know what to do when it comes to rescue donations. I don't take donations. I'm not a 501c3. So if someone gives me a link and says, here, this is where I want them to donate, then boom, I'll go and put up what it is. And I used to have arms there as well. In fact, I was going to put up a link tree that had all of them on there, just haven't had a chance to do it. But sure, I will go ahead and make a walkthrough. And yes, that would be great, Tiffany, because I've not seen what the link is. I'm sure she could give it to me as well. But sure.
Awesome.
If that's
And
what your guys'
just
big
to
deal
clarify,
is, that's such an easy thing to rectify.
we hear you when you say that you don't have any part in it other than she sent you the link and you put it up. We hear you. Now that that's been clarified and it's come from you on a live where we're all being respectful and kind to each other, I think we're all on a place where we understand you are just the middleman in this situation. You were sent a link. Someone told you to put it up. You thought you were doing right by putting it up. We hear you. We understand. And I'm sorry that it's brought so much negative backlash. Truly.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Easy to rectify.
Thank you.
And I know that you are not Dawn's keeper, and I have no problem. You are not Dawn's keeper. You are not her boss. But you do have Dawn's ear, and I know that you may not necessarily agree with these kill pen and supposed direct slaughter ships. You know what I mean? But it would be more beneficial of her, instead of raising money to pull more horses, whether they're going elsewhere or not, to better her facilities. If she has 80 acres, she could have a hell of a facility. But
you guys don't know that she's not bettering her facility. So this is where assumptions are coming in, that even I don't know what she's planning or what her blueprints are, what contractors she's hired or if she's hired. None of us know this. It's all assumptions. So really, you should not make assumptions, because I'm not. What I care about right now is these horses, and you guys don't know the whole scope, that she's not only helping with these babies. There's others. Just trust me on it.
I understand.
But that doesn't work.
When it
Because you
comes
start
to,
to make
Dale, you don't have to trust me. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Let's be honest. I'm gonna just throw it out there.
I didn't
don't care
say
if you trust
trust
me.
it.
I'm not here to impress you
Cassie,
guys.
I didn't
I'm
say
not here-
trust. I said
Yeah.
that doesn't
Let's
work.
not do the
because
yelling scream
you
fest
start
again.
to make a comment and then you backtrack. So then me as a complete outsider is looking at you going, okay, what the hell are you hiding? So if you're hiding, even if you ain't hiding, it's something minute. It looks like it's something major. So don't start a comment
That's okay.
and not finish it, because that makes you look like a total piece of crap. I'm sorry, but it does.
So
I'm the biggest piece of crap. You should.
Patsy,
It's true.
you missed the whole point. You missed the whole point of that
It's okay.
statement.
So, like,
Feel how you want to feel. Like it's fine.
so like as far, but
I owe you nothing in the end of the day. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't
No,
owe
but you
you
shouldn't
Cassie,
anything
don't feed into
whatsoever.
it. Don't feed into the stirring up. Let's not get this whole stirring up and
yeah,
be unproductive. We were finally heading in a productive manner. Let's
I
keep it
agree.
that way,
All I
please.
said is don't start a statement and then go, well, I can't, and
We
stop
hear
the
you,
middle.
Dale, but that's not
can if I
beneficial
want
to
to.
anyone in the conversation. So let's not even go there right now because we were on a really good track of having this be a calm, productive conversation. It was going well. Questions were getting answered. Let's keep it that way, please. We do not need any more drama.
Do you guys? I think you guys can start, or maybe starting to see who I am, and that is that if you attack me, I am going to attack back. I am not someone that's going to sit there and let somebody belittle or talk down to me or to question my integrity. I will fight back. I will bite back. But if you come at me respectfully, as these women have in the last couple hours, then I will talk calmly. I will explain what you want explained. But the moment that you go and start attacking me, I will either attack you back or I will block you. So that is up to you. Britt,
Cassie, I wasn't
Britt
attacking
is
you.
only here to stir the pot. Dale, you're coming on and you're stirring the pot and you're attacking me.
No,
and really,
because
I've
I
done
said,
nothing
please
to
do
you.
me a favor. I said, no, I didn't attack you, honey. I said, don't start to make a statement and then stop, because then it looks like it doesn't matter if it's a piece of dust on the floor or if it's God himself is coming down from the mountaintops.
Yeah,
If
but I
you
owe you
start a
nothing.
statement,
If I want to say something and then I say, you know what, maybe I don't, then I don't have to.
let me finish. Okay? I've been respectful and I've let you make your
You have
statement.
not been respectful. I'm sorry.
The hell I haven't.
Look at
Because
the
I could have been
comments.
typing
People
right
that are
along.
usually yelling at me, they are very.
I
Look at their
never yell.
comments right now. They're all telling me that it's you, Dale.
I am yelling because I'm frustrated because you think I'm being mean and nasty to you. And I don't really yell. I have a very loud voice. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like Rusty. My mother is half deaf, so I talk in a loud voice now. Sorry.
It's the whole tone. Sorry. But go ahead. But I don't owe you. I want you just to go on and say, I owe you nothing, Dale. And if I want to start saying something and I think about it and I say, you know what, that's not going to be productive, then I'm going to stop what I'm saying. I owe you nothing.
I never said you did. I just said.
You're acting like I owe you something.
No, I'm not. All I did is say you should not start a statement and not finishes it, because then people are like, well, what the hell is she hiding?
Okay, Dale, at this rate, all you're doing is escalating. So you've said what you needed to say, and we need to stop, shut this part down and move on to the next. You don't want Tassie coming on live, starting a sentence and not being able to finish it. It frustrates you. It frustrates a lot of people. We hear you. On to the next. Thank you.
Duly noted. Yes, Queen.
So I kind of want to, I don't know, I have questions about the horses. So I'm not privy to the entirety of the whole situation. So what I'm gathering is the original owner of these horses was a hoarder.
essentially, like it unfortunately it's speculative. Nobody has a psychological, workup of this guy, but judging by, like, normal people do not sleep out in hay barns or in the pasture and things like that with their horses. Normal people aren't blind to the fact that the best, I mean, most of you have seen the hoarders. If you've got TV, you've seen hoarders. How many of you have seen these houses with 100 cats in them, and they are decaying and dead and dying, and these people are absolutely blind to the fact because they just love. And they love their cats so much, but they don't understand that love is hurting these cats. The love doesn't feed the cats. The love doesn't vet the cats.
To answer your question, we believe without a diagnosis that he is a hoarder.
Okay. So from the next, I guess, part of that is, he still has horses on his property.
39 on somebody else's property.
Not his property. He was supposed to be renting out this property, and no bills have been paid, so it is not his property.
No,
but
first bill has been paid.
the
Once
first bill.
one
Sorry,
was.
yes, that is correct. The first bill was paid, but nothing following that has been paid, including feed, board, whatever. So it's not his property, but he is there on the property because he will not leave those animals.
Okay. And then the horses that we're talking about that have the deformities on their faces. Let's say, for hypothetical, if it is a hydrocephalus or something like that, is that a because he has so many horses? Are we thinking that they're inbred? Okay. Sorry, I was leading to that, but
So
my brain.
they're inbred, they're malnourished, which can cause bone deformities.
Okay.
There's so many things going on that you don't.
Because if the mare isn't getting the right nutrition, the in utero foal isn't getting the right. I mean, it's the same as if an anorexic human gets pregnant. The baby more than likely won't be okay. But even when I've rescued mares from situations similar to this, and the babies born fairly okay, but that was because it took everything the mare had detrimentally to get her to term.
And then the mares are immediately rebred as well, which is going to take nutrition from the milk that the foal is getting. I mean, it's just a bad situation all the way around.
I mean, I don't think any of the horses, since the day they came out of the wombs, I don't think any of them are receiving proper nutrition because, like Tassie said, even the nursing mares who just foaled have been rebred, and so that milk that the foal is drinking isn't nutritional. The feed or the intake that the foal in utero is taking is not being nutritionally met need wise, and then the
it's
mare
just a
itself
snowball effect
carrying
of malnutrition.
Isn't
And it could
doing
also
well.
be something genetic as well, that somewhere along the line that these lines are being rebred because there's multiple of them with the same stuff. So really, it's like they said, it's a snowball of just so many things from every direction that there's no way for us to know 100% without veterinarians or scientists at this point telling us exactly what's going on with these foals or with these horses.
Unfortunately, they are so inbred that the number of things wrong with them and the number of issues that they have accumulated over mothers breeding with sons and sisters and brothers and stuff is I mean, no one can really truthfully tell you what goes on until a veterinarian, or like Tassie said, at this point it's gotten so complicated it damn well might take a scientist.
And now I can tell you that also Cindy took 4 foals that were, I believe, yearlings at the time that she took them, like around that age time. Out of the 4, one of them had the same deformity as Nala, and she passed. So it's a very big possibility that some of the foals, are the young ones that have passed after they come off their mom, might be because of this deformity. Now, I can tell you that the other 3 that I went and saw that were severely malnourished when she got them, after 9 months of feeding, they look fantastic. You would never know that they came from, inbreeding, or, I mean, they're beautiful.
And if you want to see those, you can go to Cindy's page. I believe her page is Sea Moon, and it is the 3. At first it was 4 Arabians, and now we're sadly down to 3, but you can go onto her page and see how they're doing, and they've made a full 180 from this mess. They do look phenomenal.
Which makes you know that it is not pure, it is not just because of deformity, it is not just because of, their genetics, because if they get fed properly, these 3 are a prime example that they can be beautiful horses. And when 90% of the horses on the property look like they're malnourished, but they don't all have that deformity, that shows you that this is a malnutrition issue.
Hold on. I have a question for you, honey. Didn't Terry say that she had a fairly good relationship with The owner of the horses, only because I don't remember how to say his name.
Kristoff, like from
Okay.
Frozen.
Oh, okay. Well, didn't he say she had a relationship with him and was working towards getting the horses off the property?
She did say that. However, in private conversations with Kathy, I heard something completely different. So,
Okay, but hold on, because I wasn't done my question. If she was working with Kustov, whatever, I can't pronounce names, sorry. If she was working with him, why not, instead of everybody trying to bombard these two people that obviously are now overwhelmed, why not let Terry finish working with him to get the horses off? That makes sense to me as an
What that
outsider.
is, Dale, is that he's so wishy-washy and he's so finicky. One moment he says, I want your help, please come get them all, come take them, they're dying, I want them to be better. And then the next quite literally 5 minutes later, he'll be like, you're not taking my horses, they're not leaving, I don't want you touching them, feeding them, looking at them, petting them. I want you to have nothing to do with my horses. I got
let
it.
you take
So
him, and he comes back and tries to take them back from you.
yeah.
And that's happened multiple times as well. There's a lawsuit out of Texas that he did that with, and he actually got the horses back. Then there's also the fact that he gets up and leaves. And at this property right now, he has already dug out behind the fence into the reservation and has cut the fence and has an escape route ready. All he's looking for is a place to move them. And she says that he's got $5,000 saved up at least, which means he is likely going to be moving these horses really soon. And we're going to be back to square one, and nobody's going to be feeding them again. Do you guys see the problem?
Realistically, how long since she made her public announcement? Now, again, Avalon said in some cases social media counts. Don't know if it does in Arkansas or not.
I believe from what I researched, it does, as long as it was posted when the auction date was posted. And it was, that's it. I think, is that it has to be posted on social media, and they have to post when the day of auction is and where the auction is.
Therein may lie a problem with that, because I know with our stableman's lien, you have to actually hold a sale. If nobody shows up, they automatically revert to your possession. But if you don't post in three inconspicuous places the date and time of the auction and what will be auctioned off, say it's going to be Saturday at 11:30. If nobody shows up, those horses then become yours because you didn't have any buyers. But
Thank you. So right now, there's no due process that has been done to make these horses hers. He can absolutely take them legally off the property and say goodbye. And then here we are for another 4 months trying to locate his ass while he's on another property and starving the horses once again. And now we have foals that have dropped. Mama's repregnant. And here we are. The circle just spins. This guy's been doing it for 25 years. Don't say it's been 10 because it's been 25 years. And this is what he does. Judith Forbes, she knows. That's who I'm staying with right now. And she has given me the full scoop. And let me tell you, this guy, she says herself, he was actually living in her barn without her knowledge. And she's the one who sold him Ansata Sinan. She's the one who created the Ansata lines, right? And she told me, she's like, no, first of all, the people saying that he doesn't speak English, he spoke English before he came here. He speaks at least 3 languages. He understands English perfectly fine. He uses that to his advantage. She says he is more con than anything. However, obviously we do know Judith doesn't care. Trust me, she's written books. She does not care. She has given me permission.
I doubt Kristoff has social media.
Somebody says he does, because why else would he have known about the babies? How else would he have known about Dawn and the people, you know, unless somebody's over there in his ear, which would be really stupid.
I don't know that he has social media, but I guarantee you that someone somewhere that he's connected to has social media and has seen this and is relaying info. I don't believe that he has social media. He has a flip phone. We've all seen it in pictures and videos. I don't think he has social media, but I do think it would not be off-putting to say that he has connections that are keeping him involved in all of this. Absolutely. And For the ones who are saying that he doesn't speak English, I personally know that he speaks English. I have a video of him on my phone speaking English. Does he have a very thick accent, a foreign accent? Absolutely, he does. But he does speak English. Is it well? No, because of the accent, but yes.
He understands English.
He understands it and
perfectly
he
fine.
speaks it. I have videos, several of them, of him speaking English.
However,
with a
he
very
will
thick
he will
accent.
absolutely use that to his advantage. And let me tell you, every property that he goes to, he does the same thing. I brought you chocolates. I brought you wine. I love you. You're my family. Blah blah blah. He does it every single time. It's a repetitive thing. That's why I don't see him fully as a victim here. I see the horses as a victim here. Although I do believe if he has mental illness, that he should be helped. Because otherwise he's just going to do it again either way. Even if we took the horses, he will find some way to do it again, right?
And I want to clarify as well, that is what I meant when I said that he has mental issues. I do agree to an extent. He is aware of what he's doing. He is aware of the manipulation and what is going on. But I also do know that he is compassionate and he does love and care about these horses. But that's not an excuse for his behavior. And if anything that I've said in the past has come off as me trying to excuse what he did to those animals due to his mental illness, that is not the case at all. And I want that to be well known. Because you are mentally ill is not an excuse, but it is more of an explanation on what is going on and how this has been continuing. And that is what I have meant in the past, is that he does have empathy, he does feel bad for these horses, but he is also aware of what he's doing, and he has not taken any action in getting the proper help that he needs. He's taking action.
This is where the line for abuse and neglect is. Unfortunately, this is neglect because he's blind to it. You know, yes.
He's not though. He's told Kathy that the stallions, they are sperm to him. The mares are incubators. That is what he's told Kathy.
Are what he cares about.
Yes,
he cares about the foals.
Is the horses. It's like the cats. You know, the ladies with all the cats in their house.
I breed mares and incubators.
Yes.
They say the same thing about dogs as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. I do think it is a hoarding situation. I think mental illness is a contribution, but I also do think that he is aware of the manipulation that's going on. To the full extent, I'm not sure. I'm not him. I can't speak on that. I've not met him personally.
Look at the families and hoarders.
I don't.
People who are hoarding are master manipulators, which is why their families enable it to a point. Unless
I can tell you that we've reached out to his family. We've reached out to his family, and they leave us on red.
They want nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
They
Absolutely
have completely abandoned him.
I get that. My mom has dementia, but my mother is a hoarder. I kid you not. Why do you think Rusty and Rue are getting a bearskin rug delivered?
He's not selling the foals because he's refusing to let them go. At one point, he was open to selling them, but I think because of everything that's happened with the abandonment of his family, I think he is truthfully scared to let them go, and he is scared to lose the only consistency that he's had in his life for 20 plus years.
He's not
right, selling them.
You're right, Claire. Because my mother won't let go of any. It's not animals, but people who are hoarders generally keep all of their possessions because they've lost everything else. Everybody, everyone, anything that was near and dear to them has been ripped away from them. So that is why people generally become hoarders. My mom has that issue. I mean, she is, other than me, she's alone. She has nobody. So if I get sick, I'll never get in this house. My mother will pack it full of every little scrap of whatever she can find. That's what I mean by she's becoming a hoarder. So yes, instead of using possessions, he's using his horses. But that isn't an abuse situation. That legit is oh my God, what do I do? And the only reason I know that is because I do have a medical background.
So Dana keeps saying stuff like he's not responsible for feeding them. You're right? At this moment, he's not responsible for feeding them. But the moment that he finds another property to move to, he will. And when he moves them to that property, is Arm going to continue feeding them? He's going to disappear like he's done every time. And then what? So what you guys aren't understanding, everybody's thinking about the now, like right now, and I'm thinking about the future, a couple months from now when he has disappeared, and all of a sudden we get another call, or we find out on Reddit or something from somebody that says this guy is on my property. He paid the first month, and now I have dead horses on my property, and he won't leave. And then what? Right now we've got, again, the foals that just dropped, and now you guys are making me talk in circles, but the foals that just dropped and the mares rebred. So do you guys see where the issue lies therein, where I'm upset that they're not taking the horses, that they're leaving them there with him because of mental illness? Like, get the guy some help. I sent Kathy a crisis counselor for hoarding, and she was like, thank you so much. He really needs this, blah, blah, blah. And then she tells the next person, yeah, she sent it to me, but I'm not going to fucking pay for it. You're getting donations right now. Why don't you use the $175 to go get that crisis counselor out here and help him to leave the horses, like to get the horses out of there with Arm, with whoever, like get them out, because he's going to move them.
Minister, with hoarding, it's not that in itself will take months and months and months.
I get it.
So
I
in the
understand that.
meantime, if he gets mad at the person that's helping him, guess what? You're still in the same situation. So we're going to fall back to, if he kind of half-heartedly trusts Terry, let Terry help. Let Terry be the head of it.
He's not going to give her all his horses, Dale.
I'm not
You don't understand this guy.
Cassie, I'm not saying that, but you and everybody in here has said he has done with her. You've all gotten horses off of that property with her help.
And
correct?
He's going to try to get every single one of those back the moment he leaves that property. He is going to start lawsuits. This is what he's done in the past. Okay, so and it's not like one time he's done this. He's done this multiple times. He gives people the horses, and then he comes back after he moves to a property and starts lawsuits and tries to get the horses back. And a lot of the times he does get them back, right? So this is not coming from a place, when I tell you guys, like, you don't know the whole situation, that you're on the sideline without knowing it and you're making assumptions, it's because, and this is why I got upset with Claire and Bree and Dana, because they do know the situation. They've been doing this with me for the last 7-8 months. They know what is going on. They know what his MO is. They know
Hang on,
that this
Tessie, I
guy
want to
does this
answer a
over
question
and
before
over
it
again.
disappears.
Huh?
I want to answer a question before it disappears. He is, Miss May, he's legally not supposed to have these horses, and
Not
when
true.
he is...
Not true, Claire. That got overturned in a higher court of appeals.
Yep, when he appealed from
Oh, that was
five
part of
counts
the
to
appeal?
one count,
Okay,
they erased that he couldn't have horses anymore.
But he did sign something with the prosecutor stating that this situation would not happen again. So that is still in play.
Yes. That I do remember. I am so sorry. Thank you for catching me, Tassie. So he did, at one point, he was told that he was not allowed to have any more horses. That was appealed. However, it was appealed only with the agreement that the horses would not end up in this situation again.
Correct. And here we
How
are.
many times has he moved? We are aware of 4. We do not know if that includes more. We do not know if that includes, other things that we're not aware of. But so far, we have a count of,
5.
I believe,
5.
4, 5. Oh, yeah, the Coles.
Judith, the Coles, Mary,
Coles,
the
Mary.
other property, I forget what the city is called, and then now current. So that's 5 that we know of.
So that we know of. There could have been more because, like we said, this has been going on for 20 plus years. Whether it's 30, 40, 50 years, we have no clue. But what we are aware of and what we do have history of is from 20 years onward.
And it's the same thing over and over. He knows what he's doing.
Literally, he leaves one property and does the exact same thing, says the exact same things, brings the exact same things, acts the exact same way. It is
Yes.
quite literally a word for word repetition.
He tells
of
them that they are
events.
rescues from Poland, that he just brought them in, that he needs to stay there for a couple of months. He pays the first payment, and I'm telling you, it was not a small payment. It was $7,000 for him to move on to Kathy's property, and he gave her cash, and she took it. And he was supposed to bring 20 horses, but he showed up. Oh, I have a surprise for you, 70 horses. So
Shelly,
when
Ellie is involved, but their hands are kind of tied at the moment.
So that, once again, this refers back to, rather than everybody.
Because Dale, there's not time to wait for months for them to get him to say okay. There is
I
not time
understand
for that.
Kelsey, but here's, instead of 100 calls a day, why not let
Who's doing
one
100 calls a day?
That's what has been stated on the lives. There's multiple calls to
Okay.
these people on a daily basis. Daily basis, people are calling,
So I
texting,
don't
and
call
going.
Kathy. Kathy calls me, and she
Okay,
talks to
but
me for like 3-4 hours. As of like 4 days ago, she's not calling me anymore. She texts me, and I think it's because I'm here in town. Now, I was originally supposed to go and stay at the farm, and this is verbatim. I'm a little bit nervous about you coming here and seeing the condition of the mares that are in foal. Next day, she says, you know what, because of the weather, and this is the day before I'm supposed to come, she tells me that it's the weather, she's going to have the on-site person there, so probably not a good idea. So to me, that's saying, you know, we're showing you guys the good horses on pictures. We don't want her posting pictures of what they really look like. And so we're going to close the farm right now until she's gone. But it
okay,
will take months.
I understand what you're saying, but to finish what I was going to say is, instead of 100 people calling, texting, and communicating with her, let one person do that. And it seems to me, in this whole twisted mess, there's one person that did actually get horses off of that property, and that was Terry. Why not let Terry deal with them, and you guys take a step back, including Dawn? I'm not so much saying you, I'm even including Dawn in this. Take a step back and give her more
Dawn's not
than
doing anything with this. She is right now with the babies. Well, she's in LA, but she's working with the babies. So I don't know where you're bringing her in. But with me,
because she's part
no.
of she's part
I'm going to
of
say
it.
no.
She
Because
has,
I know
does she have
gonna-
babies from that property? Does
Dale?
she have? Answer no. This, I'm not going to cave on you. She is a rescue.
You don't have to cave. It's none of it. Honestly,
You're not
Dale,
letting
you
me
aren't my
finish.
boss.
Cassie,
You don't tell me
Cassie.
what to do, and I
I'm
will
not
do what
trying
I
to
want
tell
to
you
do.
what to do.
You are
I'm
definitely
trying
telling
to
me what
make
to
a
do.
comment and ask a question. And 4 times now you've interrupted me.
It's a very long question and statement. Go ahead.
Because you keep interrupting. Please
ahead.
stop interrupting. If Terry managed to get horses off of that property, no, it's not going to be a 2-week thing. So why not let Terry continue to deal with the dude and the lady, and you guys take a step back, because it's a process. It's even a process with a normal everyday hoarder. It takes years sometimes. And if it's one person dealing with them, you will stand a better chance at him keeping those horses on that property. If you all keep bombarding him, he's
Nice.
going to bail twice as quick. I'm telling you right now. Big picture. He will load them up and bail with them. And then you're right.
Dale,
You are in
I
the same
agree with what you're saying to an extent, but you really don't understand how Kristoff is. He could literally be like, I'm going to keep my horses here forever because we have a bond and we have a friendship. And then 5 minutes later, he is going, fuck you. I'm putting the
In a
horses
trailer and
and
bye-bye.
I'm leaving. I get what you're saying, but the hard reality is the people who really know Kristoff, he will act like your best friend one day, and then the next day, you know, he is gone. So whether you have a relationship or not, it really doesn't matter in this situation, because friends, relationships, enemies, he's going to leave regardless. When he's done, and no friend, relationship, buddy, connection could save him from taking those horses. When he makes up his mind, and he's gone. He's gone. Period, point blank. It doesn't matter who he knows. It doesn't matter who he's friends with. When he decides he's done, he's done.
I want to say, for the people telling me to boot people, unless somebody is being a whole ass racist piece of shit or a homophobe or something equally bad, I do not mute people. I do not boot people. So if you don't like that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you to leave. I will let people speak. I will let people say their piece. When Tassie asked to be let in, I gave her an invite, regardless of our past, because I am like that. If people want to come and contribute to the conversation, unfortunately, I only have 9 squares. That is how it's going to be. And also, on that note, it's 8 o'clock. I will give everybody 1 more hour because I am getting a migraine, but I'm still going to let you guys
Same. I hear you.
But when I made my video, I'm going to say this. Tassie, it had nothing to do with you. It's what I saw Dawn post on her own thing, and I did admit that I was wrong about the time frame as far as how long she had them. Everything else was something I saw with my own eyes. Now, it upset me when the Felix videos, several videos regarding Felix, that pissed me off and it upset me. I did see the one with the tractor. I did see the one with shoving food down their throat. And I'm sorry, I understand that new people learn, but you don't, I understand the babies needed to be taken off the property, but if you do not have the common sense that neonates that need to be warm cannot process food, that is where I got pissed, because regardless of whether I have that skull, I shot that horse, it needed to be done. It was an emergency, couldn't get a vet. Regardless of whether I would take a trailer load of horses, because I'm pro slaughter, because, regardless, I am not for neglect and abuse. And as I said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I'm sorry, but Felix suffered a needless and horrible death that could have been, cut off a lot quicker.
I agree with humane euthanasia.
That was dragged on. That was disgusting. And, even when my filly, who could or could not have died when she cut her artery, who knows, she was on halter broke. I didn't jump on live and video her bleeding all over the place, and that would have got some fucking views. That could have got donations for a vet bill, even though I'm not a rescue, but that's not where I was. I was with my horse needs help right now. Fuck that phone. I got to do what I got to do.
Afterwards.
And I think
I do have an opinion about Dawn. I never said she was a bad person. I never said she's an evil person. I said she was uneducated and in her facilities, I'm sorry, they're subpar. I don't have a fucking palace, but my place looks like the Taj Mahal compared to what she has shown. She has made public.
right, and
That
that's
she's asked for donations for, and that is where I stand with her. I can't up and just go to Arkansas because I do have 100 horses between Monday and the rest of the month, and Mama got to pay the bills, right? But I would happily help her. I would happily give her texts. I will give her, McKernan's big yellow Bible from veterinary school, that is for technicians and veterinarians if it would help her. I would. It's a $400 book. It's the one thing I kept from college because I wasn't selling it back for $10. But I would happily help her. But she seems to have plateaued by what she herself is posting, and that is where my problem lies.
and that's
I'm grabbing an Excedrin because my head is killing me. I'll be right back.
that's also where I get frustrated, and that's where I decided to step back, was because
You stepped back before that, Claire. You stepped back when she
I
said
stepped
crazy
back when there
Christo.
was a lack of education, and when people
You
who were
stepped back when
educated
Bree
in-
did when she said crazy Christo. That's when you stepped
Yes.
back.
Because I can't, as somebody who struggles with mental health, I can't sit here and listen to somebody be villainized for going out and asking for help. And
He
then
didn't ask for help, but let me tell you that Kathy called him crazy Christo, and that's where she got it from.
right, and I never said right with that either. I was never
But
okay
I
with
also don't
calling him
agree with that. Let me just put
crazy.
that out there.
Okay, and we can agree to disagree. That's fine.
No,
But
I said I also don't agree with that. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Sorry. Misunderstanding. But I personally cannot get down with, we have only seen very limited stuff that Dawn posts, right? We've only seen very limited stuff. We've seen the sad stories when the babies die. We've seen ditches that are 3-4 feet. Granted, I understand why they were put there. I understand why the ditch was dug. It was to get water. I understand and I hear that. But the ditch should have been filled back up before foals were put in there.
So it was done in a couple hours and then refilled while they had constant supervision over the foals. So again, I've said multiple times. Hold on, let me finish. Okay, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Let me finish speaking. There was just a lot of stuff from transporting a horse 4 hours away. I understand that it needed a vet, but if it really needed a vet and no other vet could get to it, then the horse should have been humanely euthanized. Personal opinion. I don't get down with putting a horse whose body is shutting down in the bed of a pickup truck or in the backseat of a pickup truck and driving it 4 hours away. I don't sit right with that. The horse should have been euthanized. As sad as it is, as sucky as it is, it should have been euthanized. I also don't agree with Dawn going on live and shoving hay down this horse's throat. It's unresponsive. It should have not been trying to get food, period, point blank. It was completely unresponsive. It was dying in her arms, and no food should have been shoved down its throat, because whether it was responsive or not, it was cold, its body was shutting down, its organs were shutting down. It wouldn't have been able to process that food anyway. It was a recipe for colic or choke. It should not have been done. There's a lot of things that Dawn is posting with, and maybe she does have really good intentions. I don't know. I've never spoken with her, so I can't speak on that. But there's a lot of stuff going on and surfacing that's just not appropriate. And I get that she's learning. I get that she's trying. But it's the way that things are being perceived on social media that a lot of people are having these problems with. A lot of people are having these problems with some of the things that are being shown here. And that's why I think I cannot support Dawn. I think I'm glad.
You don't have to. No one's asking you to.
Right.
You guys, listen, I'm not asking you guys to support Dawn.
I'm just explaining. I'm not saying that you're asking me to. I'm just explaining where I'm coming from. I just cannot, based off of what I have seen and based off of what's being put out there, I can't support something like that. I think it's cruel. I think it's gross how these foals are being treated after the hell of a life that they've lived. I think some of the things that are being done here is disgusting, and that breaks my heart. So that is where I'm coming from. I don't have an issue with you, Tassie. What I have an issue with is that you were supporting some of these things.
I never once supported any of those things that you just mentioned.
Okay.
I've come out and said, I don't know, 50 times that I do not agree with everything that she's done or said. However, I do support the babies. I support, they have been moved, Dana. So once again, I do support the babies 100%. And I recognize that at this point, she needs somebody to help her, to be somebody in her ear and to help her. And what has she done? She has moved the babies. She got them to the vet. She's gotten them square bales that are barn kept. She's on the UC Davis feed program. The only thing that she has added to that is a small amount of grass hay, and that is because Judith Forbes has said that and she's the Arabian lady, has told her that amount of alfalfa on these straight Egyptian horses, that amount of protein, they need to have grass hay. And so she has introduced a very small amount of grass hay to them as well. But she has made major changes in a very short amount of time because she has somebody there helping her, right?
Okay.
I prefer to be a person of help rather than a person sitting there and yelling, and it doesn't help. Because as you can see, she's not perceiving or receiving you guys that are yelling at her.
And let me just correct myself. It seemed like you were supporting her and what she was doing 110%. That's how it.
I've said it so many times.
Right. But you have to understand, I don't come in your lives and I don't watch them. I'm sorry, but after I've stepped away, I wasn't watching. So the things that I was seeing was perceiving that you were supporting all of this. To me, that was like, it was kind of a what the fuck Tassie moment because of somebody who does know you and for somebody who does know what you stand for, and then to see, granted, I didn't have the full story, but to see that you were what looked like supporting somebody who was acting so out of line for being in the rescue business was really frustrating to me. And that is where a lot of my disrespect for you came from. And now that we have had this conversation, that we have been on live together and we've been asking questions and getting questions answered, I've gained more respect for you. I have an understanding of where you're coming from. You're not necessarily supporting Dawn, you're supporting the Foles, which is why in the beginning of this live, I threw the offer out there that you and I have a civil conversation, because I think that understanding needed to be come to. And I think the understanding of why I was feeling what I was feeling and acting the way that I was acting also needed to be understood as well. And I hope that you have a better understanding of where I was coming from, because it was just really frustrating as somebody who knows Tassie and knows what you stand for and know what is important to you. It was really frustrating to see you, what looked like, support somebody that was doing things that were so unethical. But now that we've gotten it out of the way that you're not there supporting the unethical things that are being done, in fact, you're
I've
helping them with
reiterated that. I've reiterated that almost every single live I've been on.
Right, but like I said, I wasn't
or in my
those.
videos, I've said it so
Right. But I
many
wasn't in
times
those. And
that
so that's
I believe Dawn means really well, and she needs somebody that's going to teach her the right ways. And it doesn't help when here she is now doing those right ways, and everybody is still saying, first of all, making it like I am just this uneducated, stupid fucking bitch. You know, what do you think that she's going to see when the one person that is helping her, that's the responses that's getting out there? You know,
right.
it doesn't look very nice. Luckily, she's a very smart woman, and she's able to understand what's going on.
Right.
But
And
at
I
the
just
same
wanted to
time,
say I didn't know that though, because you had blocked me. So I didn't know what was really going, like, you know, like I feel like just recently you've been really advocating I'm not supporting the wrongdoings here. I'm supporting the babies.
since day
I
one.
didn't really, okay, right, but I wasn't in the lives, right? I wasn't in the lives, I wasn't watching the videos, so I didn't really know, and then when I did come in the live and try to ask clarifying questions, I was muted and then blocked. And so that was where my frustration stemmed from. And now that we've had this conversation and we are at a mutual understanding, I do have some more respect for you, and I have gained respect for you back, and I hope that can be mutual. I hope that we can have mutual respect for one another and agree to disagree when it's needed, but also agree that what's been going on is a big shit show. And I think there was a lot of miscommunication, and we all can agree, miscommunication, misinformation being spread around that we've all contributed to. Okay, we're all guilty of it. All of us who have been involved in this are guilty of it. And I think that's why things got as messy and shitty as they did.
So Badger, sorry to interrupt you because Badger just said misinformation right now. She's still taking horses from auction and she still isn't set up with the facility. These horses are not going to her facility. She, from what I understand, has rescues that she's already vetted that are taking the horses in when she gets them from there. She takes them straight to the vet, and then from the vet they go to the rescues that have put their hands up for these horses. That's all I know about that situation because, again, this is not my forte. I don't know anything about direct ship and how many direct ships are actually going to slaughter and what money is going back into slaughter horses. I don't know any of that, so I'm not going to comment on something that I don't understand and I would have to really look into. I don't have time to look into it right now. Go ahead.
So the guys at Bowie, if you do watch some of the videos where she is pulling horses from Bowie, they're laughing at her because she is overpaying for what those horses are, because it is sending 2 times or more horses in their stead to fill those contracts.
Yeah, and I you know, I have
And
a
I
feeling
know
that
you
that's
don't-
something that, yeah, that's not my
Yes.
forte.
But I'm just letting people know that if you watch some of those where she's at Bowie on her lives, she posted her videos, the guys at Bowie, you can see them busting up laughing because that's a paycheck for them. You know, let's say they paid $2,500 for that load of horses, donkeys, mules, you know, what have you. They're getting twice as much, if not more, for that load to go put, you know, 2 times as many horses in the pen that there were before. Like that's and even you might know that, Tassie. I don't like anybody who plays that kill pen game because it hurts more horses, perpetuates the slaughter.
Yeah, no, I know the little kill pen,
and
like the kill
it
pen
does-
rescues.
it
I know that's
does
all
make-
bullshit.
Yes, it does make things worse, and the direct ship is just the same thing.
Yeah,
So-
but I just don't know anything about direct ships because I just don't, right? So that's not, I'm not
It's the
supporting
same.
her on that aspect of it. When she first explained it to me, I put up her donate to it. And then I realized, okay, wait, maybe this is something a little bit like out of my league, that I might be donating to something that I don't understand. And so I stopped. It was on the first live. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I want to like not put my name on this quite yet until I understand more about it.
So
And
it
that's
would
my bad,
benefit-
right?
It would benefit her more financially and save her more funds if she went directly to the auction and bought directly. Because let's say she bought this horse off guy from Bowie, you know, they put a $500 price tag on its head. They probably paid like $150 to $250 for it realistically. So there's money saved, and you bid directly. You didn't pad, you know, the dealer, the trader,
Yeah.
the hill buyer's pockets. It makes a lot more sense to or if she can't go to the auction directly, be like, hey, I can't be at this auction right now. Can I, you know, find somebody that she trusts to go to said auction and bid directly. Because it does. It
Yeah.
cuts out a middleman. It doesn't use as much funds. She could technically save, you know, twice as many horses with the same amount of funds. She does.
See, this is where I say that, Rusty, you should probably really and realistically have a real conversation with her. Maybe stop the bullshit posts where you're, you know, coming at her, because you could actually save more horses with honey, like be sweet, than with vinegar. Right? Because if you'd have all this information, I don't, so I can't be in her ear about it because I will be giving her incorrect information or uneducated information, and I won't do that. So in this kind of a scenario where you know that you could actually be saving real lives, then I think that she would absolutely talk to you. But if it's not that way, then she's not going to be receptive to what people say, right? Why would she? I wouldn't. You wouldn't. It's human nature not to listen when somebody's attacking you. But if that's something that I don't understand it. If she understood it, I'm pretty sure that her heart is in the place of saving horses.
And I never said she didn't. You know what I mean?
Really quick, I'm gonna hop off, guys. Tassie, I appreciate being willing to, at the end of this, have a respectful conversation and answer some of the questions that I had. I hope that we can continue with mutual respect and agree to disagree when it's needed. And I do wish the best for you, and I wish the best for these babies. And I look forward to watching your live with Dawn, because I do have some questions I would like to ask her. And you have my word, and so do 130 people. I will come in with nothing but respect. But I do want to ask some questions. So thank you for answering what you could answer, and I look forward to that on Saturday. Rusty, thank you for bringing me up. Everyone, thank you for having me. But I've got to run. So thank you guys.
Have a good night, Claire.
I just want to look, and I know, Tassie, you haven't watched my live all day. I didn't even bring this shit up again. People in the comments did. I was drinking coffee and waiting for my wife to come home, sweeping floors, letting my dogs in and out, even left people to chat about medieval destriers while I went out to the barn and got that round bale feeder unstuck finally. Like, this did not start out like this.
No, it didn't. I was
Dude,
in here all day.
so I come into lives with full expectation of like, I'm just going to tell you what's going on right now, and I'm not going to get into the drama, and I get sucked into the comments too. It happens. I think it's whatever.
It got evolved into that. Like, me, Ranchy, Maureen, like, we're all talking quarter horse and paint horse bloodlines, Avalon. We're talking about, go follow Avalon. She makes cool fucking cups. And I'm like, y'all chat. I gotta go try to do something. And apparently I was gone for 20 minutes trying to unstick this damn gate.
Actually, it was almost half an hour, Rusty.
Was it really?
Yes, it was that long, honey. We were all starting to get worried.
I'm covered in sweat. And they're like, what the hell were you doing? I was like, I ripped T-posts out again because I had to move this. And I'm hot.
You came in looking a hot mess. And I mean a hot mess.
Like fucking 10 degrees. And I took my coat off while I was doing that because I was sweating so bad. But like, it was not this until shortly before you joined, because I don't know. So, and this is just speculation, because I don't know every one of these, 150, 250, 350 people. It was not like this all day. Are people coming in and playing both sides, to try and get...
Yeah, they do. And I see multiple people here.
Today. Honestly, that's what it sounded like today. Because
no,
honestly,
Terry was on already before I came on.
Oh, you can't see where I was unsticking it. So my property...
Amy actually came in first, and we were still just chatting, and then somebody, I guess, saw
we were
that
all
Amy
just
was
shooting
in.
the shit. Yeah, we were all just shooting the shit about Cade, I think his name is, and his new... Yeah, thank you, yeah. So that's why I said I think it was, because literally the whole time we were gone, and I can't remember exactly when Amy came in. Maybe Avalon can clarify that for my brain, because literally it's been an all day thing. But no, there was no discussion of the foals, of the era, nothing on the Arabians. Not one thing. Not one thing. I don't even know how it honestly got brought up. I think it was a couple of comments, and that's when it all started.
I don't know. Terry was in when I got in. You guys were already discussing it. But, it's every time people send me the lives, obviously, and are like, oh, here they go again. But I'll see people in your comments that are talking shit about me and then go over to my comments and are talking shit about you. I've seen it. I understand. And I try not to get sucked into it. But
I told people, no, like this morning, I was like, I just want to have a normal fucking day. My wife's at work. I have the day off, and I will be in and out, because unfortunately,
this is the new normal, Rusty. This is the new normal.
Just blame Amy. It's all her fault anyway.
But like, I literally have been, I'm like, hey, I gotta go do laundry. I'll be right back. Y'all keep bullshitting. Hey, I gotta go do this. You keep bullshitting, because I need what I like to do so that it's kind of like a FIFO food. My round bale feeders are getting low. I got them 2 big squares that were in my video. I flipped my ring off, but the problem was it was frozen to the ground in the back up against the fence. So I had to take and unstick gate, like round pen panels that are my hospital / it's part of my sacrifice pasture that I can't close off if I need limited turnout. But the panels were frozen in the mud, and that's why I ended up disappearing forever, because I was good goddamn if I was gonna make my wife help me with that. So I got that shit done before she got home. It just took a hot minute because it was frozen to the ground. Because right before all that negative 30 degree shit hit, we got torrential rain like a monsoon for 3 days. So it is ice, hard as rock outside, and it took a minute. And then when I bring those girls over here to clean up that hay that was in the feeder, just to clean up the rest of it, I'm going to flip that one over, which is exponentially easier. So then when I flip them back out there, when I flipped off the ring, then I can put the fresh hay over here, and then, back and forth. It's a pain in the ass. I don't have a tractor. I do all this with a 4-wheel wheelbarrow on foot, and it fucking sucks, but they got to eat. So that's what I do. And I don't even remember. It always starts out in the comments. It doesn't even come up until people start asking questions, making accusations.
That's exactly how it happens each time.
No, and I know that they do it with me too. But at the end of the day, I really still try. I do try. I promise you guys, I'm not sitting there calling people names. There's been times that I've gotten frustrated and said, gotten hot. But for the most part, I really do try to not just trash everything about a person, and it's definitely not reciprocated the other way.
Okay, I'll be the first to admit, like, if you meant it in sarcasm, I accept that you meant it in sarcasm. But the -1 shit, dude, I'm taking it. I'm stealing it.
Oh my God, you guys! I know the
I am using it as a replacement for a lot.
I literally sent it. I literally sent the Heineke body score over to Kathy.
And don't tell me
let me
what
tell
to do
you
on my own platform.
Yeah, I was like joking about it, right? Because when I spoke, there was 2 things that Kathy said to me, and one was about the -1, and the other one is she said that they look like 1s or so when I sent her the Heineke, but she goes, but they're in good spirits, so that I'm going to say a 2. And I was like, oh my God, that is not how the Heineke body score goes.
But right? I'm going to tell,
like, it was me being facetious.
And if facetious sarcasm, I think it's
hilarious. -1. I was laughing because I was like, people actually believe that I was being serious.
Listen,
like I was laughing.
In my heart of hearts, I really hoped you were being off the wall, because that part of your brain goes, somebody can't really be that dumb, can they?
No, I was being facetious, because that was one of the jokes that I was joking with somebody else about, because something Kathy said.
But I'm still going to use it.
Me throwing it out there as an inside joke, and I guess that everybody ran with it, and I was like, whatever. But anybody that actually knows me knows I know the Heineke body score. We talked about it extensively throughout the 2 Raw to Ride thing, but also during me and Kathy spoke extensively about it. I'm the one who sent her the body score sheet to say, okay, for the remainder ones, can you please go out there and look and tell me how bad are they? Do they need to get out now? Like, the one thing that really upset me with the whole situation was that we were waiting until they're almost dead before they come out, because of the stress. All of that stuff, all of that does hurt them when they're in a 1 or a 2 body score, especially, right? When they're already in a very bad place. And then you go and take them away from their family and you're transporting them. It's really hard on them. And it was making me really upset that we're waiting until their 1 body scores before doing anything. Like, what about the other ones that are going to be at a 1 body score? And so that was where that conversation came into. And I was being facetious about a -1. But other things, people just twist your words. Like if you say that, in Texas it's not easy to find barn-kept round bales for yourself to purchase, then all of a sudden it becomes like, there's no round bales in Texas. You're like, what? That's not what I said at all. Or every single one of them have mold. Well, I do believe that there are mold spores inside that you cannot even see inside of round bales because they're coming from a pasture. There's going to be spores of different things inside of there. Now, in Texas, most of the round bales are going to be coming from pasture, and they all have the mold on them because they were sitting in the pasture. Almost all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And all of us, we peel it off, and the horses are just fine. Anything that is left, they eat around it, and they stomp on it, and they shit on it. And that's a pretty normal thing for where I'm at. Maybe not for where everybody else is at. That's okay. I'm not saying that those babies should be fed that, but I'm just saying that it's not abnormal for them to be delivered with it. And it does depend on your area. Again, that's my area. Here in Arkansas, I don't know what you guys have. I really don't. I don't know the quality of your hay. I don't know any of that because I'm not from here.
Barbara said that moldy hay was Arkansas's finest hay on Facebook, and I'm sorry. I've been to Arkansas. I know that there is way better hay than that, and I just laughed. But I'm gonna give Barbara a pass because isn't she like 83 years old?
Yeah, she's older. She's on the older side, and she means well.
But that
She's really sweet.
like
Bye, Liz. Goodbye.
that is not not Arkansas's finest hay, but I mean, you know.
I don't know. I would really love to see the hay that's over there on the farm,
Hey,
but
Tassie.
of course that's not being shown.
Hey, Tassie. If I
Yes.
came off as like a bitch, I really didn't mean to. But honestly, that is for the last 2 years, constantly repeating myself and being loud. I did not mean to be. That's just my norm. And I know you don't know me other than seeing a picture on a screen. So if I came off as a bitch, I am sorry. I did not mean to do that. I just didn't understand why the PayPal was the way it was. Do you see what I'm saying? It was confusing the shit out of me because I'd asked you before, and I'm like, well, then where do I go? How do I get there? And in your live, you had told me, give me a minute, I will give it to you. And then it went off into another thing, and I never got it. So then I was really frustrated and like, well, what the fuck? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for that, I will be the big girl, put my big girl pants on, and apologize to you because I did not mean to be that loud. I really didn't. I'm also tone deaf. I'm tone deaf, so I never know if I'm whispering or if I'm loud. Like right now, it sounds like I'm whispering to me. I don't know if I am or not, but I sound like I'm whispering. If that makes
No
sense.
worries. Thank you. No, it's also frustrating because I've answered the questions multiple times. So
I understand that, but when I come into your live, you've got a shit ton of people in there and they're scrolling. So I'm sitting there trying to ask you my questions, so I'm not looking at the questions to see if it was answered. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, and I'm trying as well to answer everybody's questions, but they go a million miles a minute. So sometimes, again, I will get pulled into a different direction, and it's not intentional. I think that's just part of social media, but I have answered it on multiple occasions, so it feels like sometimes, and maybe this is just my perception of it, but when somebody comes in and asks the same question and I've already responded to it, and I know that they didn't just come in, they saw it before, I feel like they're doing it intentionally to try to stir
Just to,
pot
right. And
or
to annoy
to,
you. I get that.
no,
No,
not even to annoy me, but to get the other new people that have come in to start having
jump
doubts
on
and
that.
reservations.
Right. I get that. And
Right,
like
and
you,
so
yeah.
that's when I get frustrated.
Yeah, no, I get that. And like you, I do care about the horses. That's why I said even if it's the slimmest chance that Terry can keep those horses on that property, then let her be the one to deal with him. Because then you're not projecting into the future.
Oh,
You see
deal.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's-
we're going to go in
that's
circles
why-
on this one.
No, we're not, because I'm not going to mention it again. I'm just saying, but that's why I honestly believe that.
Okay, Dale, let me tell you why I believe that you're wrong, because you didn't let me say it before. And even though we've already explained this, I want you to take the two things, your question or your statement, and then put it with this explanation.
Okay.
The longer that he stays on that property with those horses, he's going to find a property to move to. And I don't care what kind of relationship he builds with Kathy, what relationship he builds with Terry, he is going to move those horses the moment he gets a chance. Already right now he's looking for a place. And I know he is. Why? Because his horses are being paid. In the beginning, they should have removed all of them. But should have, could have, would have, hasn't happened. We still have horses on the property. He will 100% move those horses. Anytime. It could be Monday, for all you know, in the middle of the night, that Terry's going to make a post and say, well, he moved the horses. We don't know where he's at.
Okay.
He's done it multiple times.
I have a question. So it's not necessarily that you have an issue with Arm then, it's you actually have an issue with him about that.
I have an issue that they won't remove the horses.
They can't.
They can. They absolutely can. What they need to be doing is talking to Kathy, because Kathy supposedly owns the horses, right? So if Kathy owns the horses, then they need to get them out of there. Now, if she doesn't own the horses, then they need to figure out a way for her to own the horses, which is what I was working with her on. I told her she needed to get a stableman lien, and tried to help her with that. And what happened is right before Christmas, she said, you know what? If I can get $20,000 in donations a month, that will feed the horses. And from there, that was with their 70 horses. And I said, absolutely not. Is anybody going to donate to you while these horses are still on the property with him there, and knowing that he can take them at any moment? You need to own those horses. And she says, well, you know what? Then I think I'm just going to try to get them healthy, and then I'm going to sell them. And so I left it knowing that she was going to run out of money and that she was going to be calling back. She called, 4 of them died, and then she called over to the rescue. So, and then I contacted her as well and was asking her, like, what's going on. Anyway, so I just know what his MO is, and I'm upset that ARM is not removing those horses or finding for her to own the horses to remove them, because the way they told her to own the horses is not correct. She does not, in my opinion, legally own those horses. She has not gone through the steps that are legally needed in order for her to own them.
But what you don't understand is Terry is trying to get him to sign the horses over. She has been trying since the get-go.
He will never. He will never.
And she understands that, which is why she's trying to get Kathy to do the same thing that you are trying to get done. Mm-hmm. And smirking and laughing like that just makes it sound like the only person you believe is yourself and Dawn.
No, I don't believe even I could do it at this point with Kathy, because Kathy changes her mind so often. It would go from one moment she wanted them off her property. It's a very weird thing that's going on over there right now. Is she would say, get them off my property. I'm over it. I'm unfriending him. Her little words, I'm unfriending him. It's done. He is manipulative. He's lied to us about everything. They need to go. Then it came to, well, now he owes me $70,000, and I would really like to get my money back. How can I do that? Then it went to, again, I hate him, get him off my property. Like, she's gone back and forth so many times. And then the very last one now, after ARM, well, I really care about Christo. I've been with him for 8 months now, and he's a really good guy, and blah, 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 because she's getting donations now. So she's not having to pay for these horses. But the moment those donations have stopped, she's already said she will not put another cent into these horses. She is done with them. She's owned her farm for 15 months. For 8 of those months, he has taken over her farm. And as of right now, she says the gate is open. You can take your horses and leave. So you don't need to go out the back door. The gate's open. Bye-bye. So in all reality, I don't think ARM is going to be able to do this. The only people I think can really get these horses away at this point is law enforcement.
Frankly.
Which, unfortunately, because like you said earlier, since there's food and water, that's not going to happen.
Frankly, it was Kathy, because it is such a big fucking headache and he flip-flops. I would be, going forward with that horseman's lien, and I'm sorry if this sounds callous and cold. I'd dump every one of those fuckers off at the sale barn and be like, have fun buying them back.
Yeah,
and
and
in all honesty, that might even happen if she gets frustrated enough. Just be like, you know what? I got all the information I need from.
And I know she can't right now because
Dawn and Terry. Guess what? I'm done. They're gone.
Done right. It's not through yet. It's not legal.
It's not.
There is no transfer of ownership. But honestly, if I were her, I'm sorry. It's not that I dislike Arabians. I do. I like Arabians. I don't own
I think they're fucking ugly.
I think they're pretty, but they ain't my cup of tea. I like the standard bread and a quarter.
It has nothing to do with looks or anything. These are great horses with no paper trail, and they're not trained. They're probably not halter broke. They're not worth a good goddamn in this horse market. They are literally what they are being fed, fodder. And I hate to say that because they are. They are living, breathing, thinking animals that are not being treated properly. But in this horse market, they're worth their hanging weight on the hoof. And I know that is sad, but it is a sad reality.
We use bodies as
because of-
coyote bait.
Therein
So-
lies the problem. He hasn't done that yet. Is she has vocalized that she is afraid of Christo. He is right now squatting on her land.
That is true.
She is coming from, I don't want to air her dirty laundry, but she has a past where she's worried of him coming and retaliating against her if she were to take all of his horses. He is already got an eviction notice, which he is completely ignoring. The police have stated to her that they will not trespass him, so he is squatting on her land. He cannot get her out. So, Dana, no, I am not going to stop unless you want to do something about it. If all you're going to do is sit in the comments and tell me what to do, you do something. Sorry, that's the stuff that'll get on my nerves. Because it's like, if you're not doing anything, all you're doing is then you're doing nothing. Who's rolling her under the bus? I'm telling exactly what it is. Do you feel that rolled her under the bus?
Oh, if that's a question to us, I thought you were just explaining what
I'm
Kathy has told
explaining.
you.
Okay, I'm trying to read the comments to see if I can answer the question you asked. Sorry.
Yeah, so basically, she's afraid of retaliation. And so then what? So the best thing I think, and this is just my opinion, is that she either needs to get a lien on the horses, get him out to somewhere where he can get some mental help. We've tried getting hold of his family. They are leaving us on red. She's told me that, Bree. In fact, I think I have a text from her on it. I don't think you guys understand that we have 3-4 hour long conversations. She has literally told me that she is afraid of retaliation.
Are exactly how you want this card reviewed. You might begin to wonder, what if you could do things your way?
Yes, and she's offered him a home, but in the same instance, also asked me to ask Dawn whether or not he could come live at her place and so he can take care of the babies, or any rescue. And Dawn was like, I cannot have a convicted animal abuser working with these babies.
Get your car, your way. Get
So again, I do have all of the information. You guys have half the information, and now what she's told,
Go away.
telling you is going to be whatever she feels like now at this time she's going to share with anybody.
Royal peppermint oil doesn't make it go away. So
Not in the last 2 days, Bree, but before that, her and I were speaking 3-4 hour long phone calls to the point my husband was getting really upset.
Here, I have this question, and yes, I posed this to Terry. Do you think that maybe Kathy is playing both of you against each other so that you're constantly at war instead of everybody working together?
No, I don't think so.
Because
I think Kathy is just stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Well, because some of the stuff that you're saying is not the same stuff that she tells Terry. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, then I don't know, because I don't know what she's telling Terry. All I know is what she's told me.
That is why I'm bringing that to you, because I watch your lives, obviously, so I hear what you say that Kathy says, and then I'm like, and I'm friends with Terry. Just for the record, I'm friends with Terry. I've known her for about like 12 years. Do I think she does everything right? Nope. Just like you are with Dawn. I don't think Terry does everything right either. But it is what it is. But then I'd say, well, this was said on live. Is that what Kathy's telling you? No, that's not what Kathy's telling me. Kathy's telling me this, and this. And so just so for the record, I posed that same question to Terry. What makes you so sure that Kathy isn't playing both of you so that everybody's in a fight, everybody's at each other, you're upset with Arm's upset with all of you?
But do you know what would be the purpose of that?
Burning both ends of the candle. Listening to you, Jules, it really does. It sounds like both ends of that candle are getting burnt.
Because
and they're getting real short.
Because I, just as you believe what people tell you, I believe what Terry tells me.
Okay, but so what I'm asking is this: what would be her purpose behind that?
Well, The purpose of that is because, like you said, she's got Terry feeding them. She's got your side coming in and trying to seize them. So, in all reality, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win for her.
It's a win-win. Whoever gets to
It
her
really is.
first, whoever gets the horses out first, is the win-win.
Also
Who's going
got
to give me the
Dawn's-
most? Who's going to give me the most for the horses
Notoriety.
that are on my property? That's
But
where
we're
it's
not
coming
giving
to.
her anything for it. So I don't know if I believe that. I'll think through and try to and look at both sides. But I mean, from what I understand, I don't think that that's the case. I think she wants to keep her options open because she knows that donations are not going to come in forever, and she knows that
Terry's got some
we're
really
able-
amazing donors. I'm going to pre-warn you of that now.
yeah, but they're not going to go on for 30 years when these babies are still coming. It's not going to happen, you guys. Eventually,
it's not gonna go on
Eventually, it's
for
going to
30
move.
It's not going to
It
go on
won't go
for
on
30
for 30
years.
years. You're right on that. But she can keep it
Horses
going.
live
If her
30+ years,
donors
you
are
guys.
as good as Jules is saying, they can go on for quite a while. I had a friend of mine who was trying the same thing, but it was with not Great Danes, Greyhounds. It was a big seizure in Manchester, New Hampshire, and as long as the dogs were there and she was getting the donations, and this lady had all of her little hookups, she kept that friggin' the Greyhounds on her little chain for like 5 years.
Can I step in here real quick? And
Well, I also
time
know
out,
something
time out,
else.
everybody, time out. Rusty is not having a good time right now. I suggest we amicably end this 15 minutes early because Rusty's obviously.
Yeah, she's dying. You look like you're dying. Beth.
I have a migraine.
I see how bad it hurts, and I don't think
So
it's
whose page we
fair
moving
for us
to?
to hold you here. So, everybody, if we can amicably say thank you for this conversation, please continue it in an amicable manner. Say good night, good luck. We hope to see you Saturday in the conversation with Dawn. Tassie,
Rusty,
everybody.
Yeah.
take a cold, wet rag, lay it across your eyes. Your eyes are gonna hurt like a bitch, baby, but it'll pull the migraine out. Trust me.
I had chronic migraines before I got kicked in the head, and then they got worse.
Right. I know when I get my migraines.
Yeah, it's not anything to do with anybody here. It just happens.
It just happens. Yeah, I know.
The platform to speak is all. I don't want to cut anybody off or anything.
No,
well, you're suffering though, and you've given us this amazing opportunity to have the conversation.
Yeah.
But I just
we
don't-
see you hurting, honey.
I had people in the comments when I wasn't even speaking telling me to shut up and let Tassie speak. I let
you weren't even in it.
No, you did. No, I feel like this was a very productive conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get on the same page on some things.
Rough as I am, and I understand there's people in the comments that don't like me, and frankly, I don't give a shit, right? I don't.
It's been incredibly frustrating that people are making up sides without knowing the entire situation, and I feel like you guys are understanding of most of the situation at this point. And whether or not anybody supports Dawn, that's up to you. That's your own decision. I choose to help. That's my decision. Love me for it, hate me for it. I don't care.
Hey,
I'm gonna do me.
On
And
a
I hope
side
you
note,
guys feel better.
from her actress point of view, and everybody can admit, I love her in Yellowstone, and have straight out said she's got a banging body. There.
Yeah.
Do I think it's sad that four foals have died? Yes, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all on
so-
you guys. I don't care about the Yellowstone stuff.
So, good night, Rusty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Get some rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably to bed, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good
Rest.
night.
Bye.
And I'm glad this ended relatively amicably, and literally, you guys want a platform. I liked this conversation. So this is what I would like to happen. This was a little more productive. So
That's what I was gonna
It was
say.
a bunch of yelling and screaming, but it ended well.
I'm gonna go to bed probably. I am sure I will be back tomorrow. I'm not going.
Is he gonna be all day, or can we just have coffee?